Hey there, Robin here, and today we've got a question from Clifford and has to do with subwoofer, two tops, and a mixer. Now, he has the Harbinger V3415 tops, which he's like very happy with, and he wanted some extra bass, so he decided he'd go all out and get himself the ICOA 18. It's from LD Systems. The ICOA 18 is an awesome sub. It's better than most when it comes in its price category for bass performance. Hard to beat that one particular product. But he says he's not getting the bass out of it because he's also got an LV7 mixer just as a bridge in between, but it's very limited. It's a very small mixer, has no extra bass treble controls on it, but it also may have to do with connectivity. He wants to be able to adjust his bass on his top speakers while still having full performance coming out of his actual ICOA 18. He doesn't want to have those two things treated separately. So in this video, I'm going to show you how I hook it up. This is going to allow me to drive the bass controls from the top, and then the subwoofer is pretty much going to be on its own. I just set the level that I'm happy with and off I go. This is a very straightforward connection, but very important. It's a connection that doesn't just work for all same branded products. So this way you're not looking at just a Harbinger top with a Harbinger sub. You're looking at Harbinger on the top with an ICOA sub. I'm going to be using a different sub because I don't have the ICOA sub. What I have for you today is going to be the Alto TS18 subwoofer. So if you're looking for a great way to set up not just an Alto TS or an ICOA, but any subwoofer that happens to not be Harbinger, this is going to be the video for you. So let's first start with a general overview of what I've done so far. I've already pre-cabled it, so I just want you to be able to follow the bouncing balls, or in this cable, where the cables are all plugged in themselves. Now, again, the LV7, which is here, again, like I said, a very tiny mixer, but very handy to have because you want to have some basic controls. You want to be able to understand what this mixer does, so this way you get the most out of your speakers and your subwoofer. Now, just like all mixers, we're going to have some small little tiny LED diodes over here, and it's going to basically give us some basic understandings of what the signal coming out of my XLRs are going to be. And we're going to be able to adjust our gain levels. Now, I don't have anything else. I'm using Bluetooth today, so it's going to be just this one connection right here that's going to drive everything. So we've got our main output, we've got our main input right here. Now on the speakers themselves, I've gone XLR out, 1/4 inch in because I decided I want to do a stereo connection. So I've gone into channel 3 and 4 on the back of the actual speaker. That means we're going to be using channel 3 to control that setup right there. Now at the same time, we had to come out of two things. One, I'm going to use the smart link, so this way I only need to run one cable across to the second speaker, and I'm going to then use the mix output to run down to the subwoofer. These are all very important ways of connecting because it's going to give me two big functions on the back of the speaker that I'm going to show you in this video. So now that we have it hooked up, I'm not even going to be looking at the speaker yet. I'm just going to come over here to the mixer, and I want to make sure that I'm not putting too much current into the system. So I want to be in the greens, but also remember, you don't want to just randomly turn up your speaker and then come back and turn up your mixer, because then what will happen is you might not get a signal here at all. So we want to make sure that we get the mixer at a proper level and then turn up the speaker. Because if I turn the speaker up to, let's say 3, which is way too loud for the space I'm working in, and I come here, as soon as I start turning this up, we're going to get some more music playing here. As soon as I start turning this guy up, I'm not going to get any signal processing. We're going to get a lot of hissing out of the speaker, and we're going to get very little indicator going. So here I am, very little, starting to get some good sound out of the speakers, but I haven't even gotten a signal to come into the actual system to dynamically have a good sound output. So of course right now the speakers don't sound great, but I'm getting a lot of volume out of it, and I could certainly turn it up. But if I turn this up a little bit more, still no signal, speakers are still getting louder. I'm getting my bass, I'm getting everything I want, but I can do a lot better. So I'm going to turn the speaker down first, just have it on 1, come here, turn this up until I get a good meter looking show here. I'm going to want to turn this up now. Speakers again, just at 1. I'm going to turn this up until I get a good signal here. Now we're in a good spot. So I'm going to turn that speaker down so now you can see what's going on. We're going to have a good signal between minus 10 and 0 dBs. It's a bit of a jump because it's a very small display. But we want to get 0 at our biggest, most impressive bass drops that we have. Notice my main volume's full tilt. That's where I want it. I can adjust it. Now that I know, I can just slam this down to full and I know I'm not going to exceed anything. I can adjust if I want, but we're going to leave that at full. So now let's take a look at how we've hooked up the back of the speaker. First of all, these are the lines coming in here. So it's coming into the left and right channels. That's line input number 3, and that was my choice. I could have gone in here, kept everything mono, XLR to XLR, but I decided I had the cables, so I do it anyways. XLR off the mixer, 1/4 inch on the back of the speaker. I'm happy with that. Now here I've decided to not turn the app on, because if I turn the app on, I'd have to go through all the app settings and have it all on, which you can do. I mean, all of that's possible, and it would be just lit up as a custom app function here. But in this case, I want you to see what's going on. I want you to see it easily. So right now I have a voice mode set to club, my choice. And then this, very important, I have the sub cutoff at 18. Though in the manual, it doesn't actually tell you what the frequency range of the cutoffs are. My impression is the 18 cuts off at about 80 hertz, and if you set it to 12, it's around 180 hertz. So yes, a bit of a difference there. You can have it not on at all, and it won't do anything. But very important, the reason why I do this is that I want to still be able to use my bass and treble control. Very, very important. Now, how did I hook up my second speaker and my subwoofer? Well, very important right here. I'm using the link out, selecting the router option to be stereo, and this is going to go into the link in on the second speaker. Now, the subwoofer is going to mix out right here, and this is also going to be very important because this is going to allow me to control the volume gain levels on the subwoofer. Now, because I've selected 18, the sweep on the bass is probably about 350, 400 hertz. It's like a whip. So when you turn it up and down, it's turning everything up and down on the low frequencies, up and down. But understand, because I've got an 80 hertz cutoff, it's not really affecting anything below 80 hertz. The subwoofer's happy as can be right where it is. This then is just really going to affect what's going on up here. Much more noticeable than having this off or having it hooked up any other way. So to follow through with the connections, let's just see how these all end up on the other end where we don't really have to mess with them too much. So the second speaker is very, very straightforward. Routing is set to linked in. We're going to use that link in option here, and everything else is going to be off because this speaker is now basically a secondary of the first one. It's just basically a linked speaker as if it's one extension of its original one. It's perfect that way. You never touch any of the dials. They mean nothing now. It's in linked in. Everything the first speaker does, this one will do just right away. Now on the back of the actual Alto, I've chosen to have it in DJ mode because I'm happy. If I was going to run this really loud and really powerful in an open space, I'd probably take it out of DJ mode and have the EQ off. Don't really get into that. Now, this is a phase alignment. Now, this is important. You need a dB meter in the room and you need to weight it. That means press the C button. And then you can press this and see if you're going to get a different amount of dBs out of it. So you got to test the room space. You can do that, by the way, with your phone. You can get a dB meter and do that. It'll just show you how much extra bass you're getting depending on the setting you're in. I can get into a whole bunch of this, but for now, let's just say leave it off. Most of the time, you'll be just fine. The actual volume here is just at 0. I don't need to add or minus anything to it. It's running just fine for me. I could certainly turn it down a bit or turn it up a bit depending on what style of music I'm playing and what's going on. So I'm going to give you a bit of a recording sound sample to it and adjust the bass on both of them. But of course, you need some really good headphones. So when I'm playing back and listening to this, I'm using it on my actual studio headphones, which are Sterling S452s. They have great, amazing bass response. So much so that I tend to have to take the headphone off in one ear to make sure I'm not playing it in the studio at the same time. So if you don't hear the bass differences, trust me, they're there. If you've got something that'll do a really good job, maybe you play this in your car. That'd be an awfully good way to get to know the difference. Now, again, we're just going to play a little bit. I'm going to record it on a ribbon microphone, so this way we get some good bass response off of it. But the idea is that I'm only going to need to turn this up a little bit to get everything to get going. What I'll do is then turn up the bass and treble so you hear the differences, and then I'll turn up and down the subwoofer so you hear that. Then I'll turn the subwoofer off and we'll do this again. So there you go. That's how straightforward this can be. So if you have a question, by all means, put it down below. And if it's a good enough question like this bumped all my videos. I thought this was so important that I put just to the front of the line, had it made today, so this way you guys can get to watch it as soon as possible, because I thought it's a great video setup. So remember, if you're going to listen to this, listen to it in your car. And if you're lucky like me and you have some Sterling headphones, the S452, you're going to get amazing bass response. I plugged that into my Mackie mixer, and I honestly can't tell the difference. It's that good. Great set of headphones will always do the difference. Now, at the same time, you have to have the appropriate music to play. That I get my music from Artlist, so this way it works out really, really well, not just for me, but for you when you listen to it. All royalty free, but the important part is I can type in that I want some heavy bass, EDM stuff. I can even put the frequency. I want to have stuff down at 20, 30 hertz, so this way I can really demo stuff good for you. Now, at the same time, let's cover the hookup one last time. We had the LV7 mixer, which was just a simple 7-channel mixer with Bluetooth on it and XLR outputs. We used those XLR outputs to go across to the first speaker, and we went XLR out to 1/4 inch in, and that was going to be on channel 3, left and right. We set it up in stereo mode. This way we'd have great left and right sound. And then we went and took the link option and set it to stereo out, so we can use the link out and then run it into the link in on our second speaker. So now both of our V3415s were hooked up properly, and all we need to do is hook up the sub. Now, to make that right, we don't want to hook up the sub to the second speaker unless we had 2 subs. We want to hook up that subwoofer to the first speaker, so this way the signal coming out will go straight down to the bottom. No problems. We'll get all the bass we want. And because we've done that and added the feature on top, in my case, club mode, but more importantly, subwoofer out was set to 18, so we get a good 80 hertz cutoff for the top. That'll feed the bottom dedicated. At the same time, we'll be able to still use the bass and treble controls on the top without really any noticeable difference to the top or the bottom, because it's doing the job of crossing it over properly. It gives us great volume. In our case, the Alto TS18 subwoofer was set at only 12 o'clock, which was unity, and we only had to run these speakers at, well, 30%. The rest of it was done down at the mixer. We wanted to make sure a good signal came out of the mixer, so we did set up the mixer so this way we had a good signal coming out close to unity, not just something playing in the background that had a lot of noise. Well, again, I hope this video helped you out today in your learning curve. By all means, you can use the chapters to get to any point if you want to go back and review what we did. And again, hopefully the sound came out pretty good for you. Like I say, thanks for watching. Hit that likes up button and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye for now.